Morning campers, a rare bit of sunshine, so I've literally put on every bit of sequined mirror ball costume I've got, and today we're going to talk about balance, because fine if you're in a class in your Keep Fit kit with your trainers on, you know, you're consciously thinking, oh, balance. But if you're down the shops, I can't personally go down the shops at the minute, but if you're out shopping, you can still work your balance. So every time you're walking, you have to be engaging your core muscles, because if you didn't, you'd be like a fried egg on the floor. You couldn't get up, you couldn't sit, let alone stand up without core muscles working a little bit. But if you switch your brain on to switch the tummy on even more, so one of the ways to do that is stand tall. So if you're walking down the street with your shopping bags, stand tall, a sensation of drawing that tummy in like you're doing a belt up, that will help as well. So every time you're walking, obviously not if you're on your phone, if you're distracted, but if you're just by yourself, think about, oh yeah, I'm going to walk nice and tall, and drawing the tummy in. If you're going upstairs, even more, that draw up, draw in. And when you're waiting either to go into a shop, or you're at the bus stop, or you're waiting in a queue to pay, what you can do is really subtle balance stuff. So obviously if you're nervous about balance, sometimes to start holding on helps. But what you can do is have a toe on the floor, but have a heel just off the floor. And already one side of your body then, think of that supporting you. Rather than making the knee completely rigid, you could have the supporting leg a little bit unlocked. If you want to progress that, you can just do the slight lift. So now we're working a muscle low down, hipster belt, your transverse abdominis, that wraps around here, the lower back. So it's a back strengthening exercise. It's like a vertical Pilates inspired exercise. Then you do it on the other side. So, you know, you're waiting to go to pay at your checkout. You can bring the heel off, see how that feels, and then that little, tiny little lift. So that already, when you're standing, if you feel up to it, you can stand hovering one leg an inch above the floor, and then change sides. So you're doing an exercise while you're out and about. I often do this when I'm cleaning my teeth or waiting for the kettle to boil. You can also work this posterior chain of the body, your hamstring and your glute, by doing the same thing in a slow motion curl. So you know in the classes we sort of do that big curl, but if you're out and about, you can come onto the one toe, heel off the floor, hover, pop down. Or you can hover a little bit higher. So the higher you bring that heel, the more the hamstrings, this back of the thigh, and the more you're working into the core muscles. So either of those moves, the climbing the ladder move, where you're bringing the knee up higher and you bring your arms up. Perhaps you don't want to do that at the bus stop because people might think you're insane. I've got past that, to be honest. I don't care where I do my exercises. But again, in the kitchen, when you're waiting for the kettle to boil, now you're working your shoulders because the arms are above the heart as well. You're not only improving your balance, you're doing a cardiovascular exercise. It's going to get you slightly out of breath because your heart's a pump. It has to pump the blood above itself up to the fingertips and your arms. You might feel slightly warmer. And this is a dynamic back stretch. The higher you bring that knee, the more you're stretching the glute, the bottom, up to the lumbar region of the back. Now, at this time of the year, if you want to, you can go into your star pose, where you're taking the leg to the side and the arms to the side. And then if the Christmas tree lights don't work, or your star falls off the Christmas tree, you can just sit on top of it yourself. So this star pose, a little bit more advanced, but you're still working your balance. You don't have to come into, you know, a huge advanced pose. You can just take the toe to the side with the heel off. You can bring your arms a bit lower if your shoulders don't like it. And if you want to, that whole lift above and the lift of the leg up. You're now working the side bits of your legs and hips, your glute medius, the side of your bottom. And of course, at this season, you have to be talking about the Christmas tree. You can have your branches here, you can have your branches there, you can bring the leg up if you want, you can have the toe on the floor and the heel towards the ankle, and any yoga pose like this, any yoga inspired pose like this, hands here, hands here, hands here, whatever feels good for you. Practice in front of the telly, wherever you want to bring that leg. Any balance pose, it's not static, so there's lots of tiny adjustments. Keep breathing rather than holding your breath, and little and often, so if you're concerned about your balance, keep going. And the final one, onto the toes, heels off the floor, and that little rock forward, drawing the tummy in, standing tall. Again, this is one that you can work the calf muscles as well as engaging the core muscles pretty much wherever you are. So, good balance and goodbye.